All right, let's talk about people. A lot of interesting words used to describe people in Hindi and other languages that are different from how we talk about people and talk to people here in the States. So I want to go over some of those to make sure that you don't get any weird looks when you say the wrong thing. Okay, first one is letting you know that in America we pretty much call everyone by their first names. In India and some other places, I think people are sometimes apprehensive about that. They are concerned that they can't call people always by their first names, but generally you can. People at work, your colleagues, your boss, you can call them by their first name, call your friends by their first name, call someone new that you've just met by their first name. They'll probably tell you what their first name is. They'll say, I'm Noah, call me Noah. So first names are pretty okay here to call people by their first names. By the way, good name is not a term that we use here. Often I think Americans are confused when they're in India and people ask them to tell what their good name is. What is your good name? Just, we would say, what's your name? Mr. and Mrs. You know, we use them sometimes in formal situations, I suppose. Maybe the very first time you meet someone, or someone much older than you. Maybe you might call your friend's parents Mr. and Mrs. What you don't want to call your friend's parents is auntie and uncle. That is something that you might hear in South Asia, calling friends' parents auntie and uncle. But here in America, you would only call someone auntie or uncle if they're literally your auntie or your uncle, one of your parents' siblings. So something to keep in mind, Mr. and Mrs. for older people, maybe your friends' parents. Now, when you're introducing yourself, in India you might say, myself Noah, myself Raj. We would say, I'm Noah, my name is Noah. No need to say myself. Myself is a word used in other contexts, but for the introductions, I am or my name is more than sufficient. Now, when it comes time to introduce your brother or sister to people, in South Asia you might refer to them as your real brother or your real sister, to contrast that with real, or rather cousin brother or cousin sister, right? Well, here we don't say those things. We just say brother or cousin. If someone's your brother, they're your brother. If they're your sister, they're your sister. And if someone's your cousin, your uncle's daughter, for instance, then they're not your cousin's sister, they're your cousin. Brother, sister, cousin. It's as simple as that in English. And the term would-be is an interesting one that is not used here to describe your fiancé, the person that you're going to marry. In India, for instance, you might introduce someone as a would-be, but we don't say that. We say fiancé for men talking about the woman they're going to marry, or a woman talking about the man they're going to marry, their fiancé. And finally, when it comes to children, a lot of Americans I've talked to are confused when they're asked if they have issues. They have issues at home. That's another old British term for children. We would not say issue, we would say kids.